6'4", 245 pounds, edge out of Ole Miss. Princely Umanmielen, you're up. What's up, everybody? Carolina Keith back again. Third video in the series. You saw our first video with Ted McMillan. You saw our second video with Nick Scourton to help that defense out. Here's our third video in the series. Is on Princely Umanmielen, third round pick. Excellent choice by the Panthers. Let's dig into it a little bit. Hey, check it out. If you haven't done so, please, man, go hit like, hit the notification bell, and subscribe while you're here watching, man. You can be on X, Rumble, or YouTube. Why not? It costs nothing, supports the channel. We all get to do a little bit more together and have a little bit more fun together and not miss any important data, right? Right. All right. Now, if you're a Panther fan like me, you went into this draft knowing we needed defensive end or edge help. Not only were we one of the worst pass-stopping teams in the league, we were one of the worst run-stopping teams. We needed both. We needed defensive linemen to play the 3-tech. We needed guys to play the 5-tech. We needed wide sevens. We needed corners. We needed safety. Dude, we literally needed everything. Luckily, Dan Morgan came through for us. Pick number 77 in the third round, Princely Umanmielen. Now, as you've seen in the other videos, we're going to do this based on three things like we always do. We're going to do it based on production, based on athleticism, and based on film. If you've got all three, you're kind of the trifecta of what we're looking for. Things we don't look for are your off-field stuff, what your interviews look like, how you carry yourself, you know, what they might think about your character. All that stuff is subjective, meaning opinion. Whereas with production data and athletics and film data, we can look at that and go, no, this is objective. We have a locked-in thing here, and we know of this as a certain. Now, some people are going to tell you that Princely failed because of other things, not to do with football. People are going to say, oh, maybe he has an attitude problem, or maybe his interviews didn't go well. I haven't read a ton of that online, but people are throwing that around a little bit. What I'll say is, if I look at the film, I can kind of see why he slipped a little bit. But if you're looking for a guy to be a pass rusher, y'all guys are going to like this. Athleticism first, why not? This is from Ken Bell over at MathBomb, over on Kenley Platt, over at MathBomb on X. Very cool stuff. He comes out with the RAS, Relative Athletic Score. Teams do something similar to this. It's not exactly the same, but it's similar, and they do have the same data analytics ideas. You're looking for the best athlete you can, specifically at certain points. If we look at this, Princely graded out great at some stuff. And you guys will notice I'm trying to say his last name a ton because I got it right a couple times and I don't want to screw it up anymore and disrespect him, all right? First thing we notice here that jumps off the screen, 38-inch vertical, 10-foot, 6-inch broad jump is amazing. These are great elite level traits that he has. Why does this matter? Well, it shows that you're explosive and you can cover a lot of ground real quickly, which is incredibly important when you're playing the defensive end or the edge position. Why? Because that's two of the rare attributes that those guys have, right? They can cover a lot of ground real fast. They got extreme explosiveness. It's a wonderful thing. On the athletic side, as far as speed goes, look at his 40, 20, and 10-yard splits here. My goodness. 8.3, 83rd percentile on his 40 dash, 82nd percentile on his 20-yard dash. But really cool here is on his 10-yard split, a 9.0, meaning 90th percentile within 10 yards. Where do defensive ends do most of their work? You got it within 5 to 7 yards, which gives him ideal speed, ideal explosiveness, and the last piece of the pie here would be his agility and his strength. Well, he's a little bit undersized at 245. I think all pros eventually gain muscle as they get to the pro level and start pro workout regimes, etc. And to get around pro trainers, other alpha males, you tend to bulk up a little bit more. So I'm not too worried about that. If you're looking for an immediate impact, sure, you could be a little worried about that, but it doesn't matter. I still think he's going to give us good pass rush production. Average height, 6'4". It's actually pretty big for a defensive end. This guy's very comparable in numbers to Brian Burns when he was first drafted. That's a similar comp with not the same attributes. But what stands out to me here, yes, he had a good shuttle and 3-cone. Let me drop the camera off so you can see that. You know, at 6 and 5, 60%, 58%, it's better than average. Okay, better than average agility. The kicker here is he didn't do the bench press. Why does that matter? And what would it have done? Well, he graded out an 89th percentile athlete. He's got 33.8-inch long arms, good long arms. His hand size is 9.6. He's got ideal arms, ideal hands, good height, extremely good speed, extremely good explosiveness, pretty good agility, but the bench press. Now, I want you to remember those bench press numbers, all right? This is from the year before he was drafted, when he played at Ole Miss. Look at the numbers. When he played for Florida and transferred to Ole Miss. Look at the numbers he had going into the year. He was in the 75th percent on run defense and the 90th percent on pass rush. He was one of the elite ideal targets coming into this draft, which means he would have had a high first-round grade had he maintained the numbers that he did his sophomore season. And here's the numbers for his career after the year he had last year. Good year, don't get me wrong, but combined all together, you start to see the body of his work. You look at the potential you've got with the athletics that we talked about a moment ago, right? He's got a lot of good measurables that you want. Perhaps he just underperformed a little bit and needs a couple tweaks. No big deal. Well, here's your production versus athleticism score. As you see, he graded out an average athlete. We just saw he's got above average traits, right? Also, he graded out at slightly above average production. He graded out in the high floor category. This is from @Gridiron Grading over on X. The high floor category means you could break out and have a big upside, or you've already reached your maximum potential and you might flame out. We would have liked to see him in this top corner over here where you've got guys like James Pierce Jr., Abdul Carter, both first-round picks. Instead, we got someone who's kind of floating around in between the two of them. Very close to being in that quadrant. Didn't quite make it. Again, had his numbers been slightly better this year, he would have been in this section and he would not have been available for us in the third round. Also note I have Nick Scourton circled right there. Very comparable numbers. Where you guys saw something with Nick Scourton that I talked about before, very good run stopper, very good upper body strength. He stacks, meaning gets his hands inside, hits the other guy in the breastplate. That's called stacking. And then he can set the anchor, meaning he can buckle his ankles down to the ground, anchor himself into the grass, push you with his upper body into your breastplate, create a little bit of a curve in his body, and anchor himself down where you're not going to move him, right? Then Nick Scourton has the power to push you over as he's doing so. You're going to see with Princely here, it's a slightly different story, and I'll show you on the film. And now please note, before I show you this film, I am thrilled we got him. I think he was one of the best pure pass rushers in the draft. I'm talking about put him on the edge, turn him loose, and watch what he does. There's room for improvement. I think he would probably tell you the same if you asked him. However, let's look at the clips here and see, and you'll see what I saw. High potential with room to grow. All right, here we go. Right off the bat, Princely is on the left edge over here. Bottom of your screen, right on the SEC logo. This is a 3-3-5 setup. They've got 3 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs. All right. The idea behind this is they're going to get a fair pass rush with an oddball blitz, drop 2 guys into coverage, and keep the other 5 guys in the back to make a shell. They might play zone on the outside. They might play man on the outside. You're not really sure, which is the beauty of a 3-3-5. Now, the problem with the 3-3-5 is in a rushing set, they're going to run right down your throat most of the time, right? It's a bit of a disadvantage to a guy trying to get run stopping stats. Okay, so watch this play out. Left edge. It's a shotgun, empty backfield, right? They've got, it looks like 4 wide outs and a tight end. Actually 5 wide. They're 5 wide here. They got a guy way up here at the top of the screen. You can't see. No tight ends in the game, so they're going full empty here. Watch how Princely gets off the line. Same way with Scourton. Watch his first step and how much ground he covers. He's right on that double line right there at the 25. We watch it play out a little bit here. Instantly, 3 yards in a guy's face automatically. Now, I want you to notice, clean backfield, let it play out a little bit here. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Was it a sort of quick throw? Sure. But I want you to notice what he does wrong. He had an excellent first step. Notice his back foot right here. Big back foot step. That's perfect. That's covering the most ground you can. That's actually something that you can teach, but most people don't know it, like I explained on the last video. 1-2 steps. That's 1 step plus a stutter step and he's already into the offensive lineman. But rather than take him on, he headbutts him. Now, let me ask you, when's the last time you've seen an athletic freak on the edge just headbutt an offensive lineman? Exactly my question, too. That being said, he still manages to get a push on him. Look at that. He still got him back in the backfield, even after headbutting him and forgetting to use those 38-inch long arms that he has in front of him. Now, is it going to have to be perfect every play? No. I think it's a bit silly to think a player is going to be perfect on every single play. That's unrealistic, right? But what we can say here is he missed an opportunity because this guy was already on skates. If you can headbutt him and hit him and push him back 2 yards, 2.5 yards, imagine what you would have done with your arms. Now, you're going to see where he really excels. Same setup, right side of the line. They've actually got 7 in the box here, but it's a very odd formation. They've got 3 guys on the line, 1 linebacker showing blitz, and then 3 linebackers in the back. Right? It's a very confusing set. They're playing South Carolina here, my extended family's favorite team. Watch how fast he gets off here and gets around this left tackle. Right? Bang, 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 and he is in the backfield. Swoop underneath. That was a rip move. He just ripped right through that offensive lineman. Watch the first step. Right foot stays planted. That back foot comes first, and he covers 1.5 yards on his first step without ever touching a guy. He's already in their face. Left tackle is by default on skates, immediately out of position. He's already out of his spot. He has to try to reach and lunge. As soon as he reaches and lunges, Princely throws the hook underneath him to rip through, rips right on through him, gets a really nice lower body bend. He's almost at about 55 degree angle right here with his body bent over sideways to get around this offensive lineman while engaging him. That's a very, very difficult thing to do. Have a very big 300-pound guy pushing on you while you bend and rip to get around him at the same time with speed. Very rare traits right there. And obviously he absolutely eats this quarterback up. He had no shot, comes around the edge, and he's all over him. Princely gets a sack. Now, let me brag on him real quick, all right? I said he couldn't use his hands, or he doesn't use them well enough. And that's not true. He can. He just doesn't sometimes, which, again, I think he'll get way better at, especially when he's around a team full of killers and some really good coaches. And I think we have good coaches on staff. So watch this next piece of film. Watch excellent hand and arm use and see what he does to this right tackle. All right, we'll start this right off the bat. Wide receiver's got 1 running back. He has a tight end, but it looks more like a fullback playing tight end or a halfback position right here. Ball snapped. He immediately engages. Whoop, right through him, no problem. Right around the edge, forces an overthrow. Look at that. Same thing again. Right around the edge, arms out, forces an overthrow. Watch again. Beautiful first step. Instead of going speed, he already knows beforehand. See, there was no indecision on this play. He didn't have to figure it out. It looks like he already knew what he was going to do. The ball snaps. He doesn't take that big stride like he typically does. He takes a chop step. Watch. Boop, chop step. He knows already, I'm setting this guy up for a move. I wanted to be able to figure that out on the fly, because if you watch several plays where he got blocked up, that's the only thing that seemed to do wrong, right? Just didn't make his mind up which good move he wanted to use, and he's got plenty of them, all right? Bang, bang, chop step, gets his hands on him. Look, the offensive lineman lunged. Offensive lineman lunged at him when he did that chop step. I got to grab him. And as soon as he did, Princely grabbed his arms on the outside, chuck and rip right underneath him. Chuck and rip. There's the right arm coming underneath. Now, if he doesn't let go, he's holding. And if he does let go, the quarterback gets hit. Right tackle's cooked. Comes right through, and he almost gets a sack strip fumble, still disrupts the play and gets a pass rush and forces an overthrow. And again, same play on this one. I left 2 clips in on this one. Shout out to the guy who did this. I'll shout out every channel. I know I don't have a Patreon. This clip was already done, so I could pull it up real quick. I went through a bunch of clips. These are some of the best ones that are already done for us. Far wide 7 technique again. Left tackle, snap, boom, boom, 2 steps. See that big step he takes right off the bat? Back foot first, boom, off he goes. Right tackle barely touches him. You had no shot. Princely's way too fast for that. All over the quarterback. He has to step up. There's more pressure in front of him. You guys know the team he played for. You guys know the guys he played with. He's a stud. He easily gets him down, rips him through. Quarterback's got no shot. Again, another great couple plays for Princely. How about the reverse angle? We saw the first clip. Watch the second clip. Right off the edge, bend, rip, and into the quarterback. Slow it down a little bit. Notice that there was a tight end there. So he didn't just come around the left edge. He came around the far left edge, the 7 gap, all the way out on the edge. Beautiful rip, big first step. 1, 2, 3, 4 steps, full speed now, because remember his 10-yard split was very low. He gets up to speed very quickly. Already into him, offensive lineman on skates, having to reach already at a place, a crossover fall down by the offensive lineman. So now he's got him literally on his butt. First step, I want you to look at the bend in his legs. Look at his arm already under ripping. That's very impressive dexterity in his ankles, very impressive dexterity in his hips and lower back to make that move. And he barely touched him. Saw him coming right at him and still managed to barely touch him. Easily through for the sack. That is an absolutely beautiful speed rush. So we've seen the pass rush, right? He's going to have some things he's got to work on, sure, right? Sometimes his hands are a little bit out of place. Sometimes he doesn't use those big, massive arms that he's got to his advantage. He'll fix that, okay? How about run stopping? The first 2 clips you saw he was in a 3-point stance, in a sprinter stance, actually. Now he's down, actual hand in the dirt, all right? Actual hand in the dirt, lined up on the line, right edge, 5 tech right here. A run play comes. They've got 2 tight ends in the game. Watch what he does when they attempt to pull guard on him. They attempt to run over the left side. He immediately realizes that his guy he was going to engage with left the spot and left him with a tight end one-on-one. And watch him abuse this tight end. He's right here. He's going to go right through this gap right here. Bam, bam, bam. Zoop. No thanks. No problem. And I'm out. -4 yards. Watch the offensive lineman. Hey, I'm pulling. Tight end says, oh, shit, I can't guard this guy and this guy. What do I do? Gets mixed up on what to do. Offensive lineman is lost in the mud here, and Princely immediately recognizes this. The instinct to know that they're trying to pull something cute here. This is either a read option, roll around, or they're going to hand this ball off to the left and try to get it out on the edge, right? What do? I attack. And he goes right through those pulling blockers, right behind that offensive lineman that was supposed to communicate this a little better, and into the running back, no problem. It's actually more like -3 yards, but either way, great run-stopping recognition. The traits are there. You guys remember how much yards Jalin Hyatt put up at Tennessee? Man was a machine out there scoring points, right? Threw the ball down the field a ton, could run. Here he is versus Princely when they played in Florida a couple years ago, right? He's lined up on the right edge this time. The left edge this time as opposed to the right edge like he was last time. He's lined up over the right tackle. No tight end help. They've got 1 running back in the game, 1 tight end in the game, 3 receiver set, right? Wide side, and college hash marks are a little bit more wide. They got the whole wide side to the right. They're trying to get an isolation here, all right? They're trying to get an isolation one-on-one with the defensive lineman, the linebacker that's back here in the back, or the free safety who's playing in the box. They're trying to get a one-on-one. They're hoping this offensive tackle gets out here and covers Princely, that this guard and center can double team or tandem block these 2 guys, and Hyatt gets a one-on-one. Watch how good Princely does at this play. Sees the snap. He recognizes, no thanks. You're not getting away from me, and he's all over him. Jalin Hyatt's one of the best runners in college football at this point with the ball as a quarterback. Instantly sees, you're not trying to run the ball? They even tried to get slick and pull. You see that left guard trying to pull right here? Watch him try to pull around and engage. Princely instantly recognizes that, oh no, you're not trapping me and getting a one-on-one. This running back's trying to run right through here and try to engage this linebacker. You got Hyatt one-on-one with whoever tries to break loose. Instead, Princely completely disrupts this play. He completely threw him out of sync. That was supposed to be an easy run around the corner, and it turned into, oh no, I've got to throw the ball to some guys who are not expecting me to get the throw. Look at the ground he covers. Remember, he starts on the hash mark, the wide side hash mark, and runs all the way to the sideline, takes an excellent angle. He doesn't over pursue. A lot of times you'll see guys come off the edge and they'll go straight to the quarterback. He doesn't. He immediately recognizes that and takes a wider angle, Great play, was all over it, soaked up the ground, and made an excellent textbook tackle. Beautiful run defense. Now, the fact that we got him at 77 in the third round is insane to me. I did not think he would fall that far. I had a first-round grade on Princely. Why? Well, all the traits I just showed you. Everything that he does wrong is easily fixable. He could fix it no problem. It just takes a little bit of practice, being on the right team of killers. In fact, he doesn't even have to fix it if they put him in the right position and the right scenario to start off right off the beginning of the year. Will he challenge for a starting position? I'll say yeah, but we don't know yet. We don't know exactly how the roster is going to continue to shake out. We don't know if the Panthers are going to pick up somebody else. We don't know if they're done trying to play shuffleboard with the defensive ends. I'm not sold yet. We'll see. I hope he gets to play a lot. Whether he starts or not, I think is a little bit insignificant, as long as he's in the game making disruptive pass rushes. All right, so based on the three things, right, athleticism, production, and film, he's got the trifecta. He does all three of them. That's exactly what I wanted to see. Anytime I get that, I'm putting him into the first 2 rounds automatically. You can sort out the other stuff subjectively. That's what the team are pros for. That's why the coaching staff and the GMs were put there. I'm just a guy who does data analytics. Shout out to everybody who watched. I appreciate it. Love you seeing on the team Princely. Love seeing on the team Nick. Love seeing on the team Tetroa. Let's go Panthers. See y'all next time. Keep pounding. I'm out. Peace.